The first thing I remember wasn't the pain. It was the cold, the kind of cold that seeps through denim and skin and settles into your bones like it's signing a lease. I was upside down, or at least that's how it felt. My car had folded in on itself like a crushed soda can, the windshield starred with cracks that turned the world outside into a shattered mosaic. Snow drifted in through the broken side window, soft and almost peaceful, like the universe was trying to tuck me in. And through that fractured glass, I saw my sister, Bonnie. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't crying. She wasn't even on the phone. She was standing near the guardrail in her wool coat, arms folded tight against the wind, watching me. Just watching. And then, this is the part that still wakes me up some nights, she lifted her wrist and checked the time. Not in panic, in patience. I tried to move. My legs wouldn't respond. Something hot and sticky slid down my temple into my eye, blurring my vision. I remember mouthing her name. I don't know if any sound came out. The taste of iron filled my mouth. My lungs burned every time I dragged in air. She met my eyes, and she didn't move. You'd think the worst part of nearly dying would be the metal crushing your ribs, or the terror of not knowing if you'll take another breath. But no. The worst part was realizing the person who shared your childhood bunk bed was waiting for you to stop breathing. That's the moment something inside me cracked, long before the car did. When I woke up, the light was blinding, hospital white, sterile, humming. There was that steady beep, beep, beep from a monitor near my head. For a second, I thought I was still in the car because everything felt wrong. My body didn't feel like mine. A nurse leaned over me, adjusting something in my IV line. She startled when my eyes fluttered open. Oh, thank God," she whispered, but her expression wasn't relief. It was complicated, like she'd just realized a situation had gotten a lot messier. I tried to speak, my throat scraped like sandpaper. "Your sister's been here every day," she said quietly, glancing toward the door. "But I think you need to know something." That's when my stomach dropped. Bonnie hadn't been sitting by my bedside holding my hand. She hadn't been sobbing into tissues or praying. No. She'd been hovering outside ICU, asking the neurologist very specific questions. Not about my recovery, about brain activity, about timelines, about when a patient is legally declared non-responsive. And here's the kicker. She had paperwork ready, power of attorney, already drafted, already notarized. Who prepares legal control documents while their sister is in surgery? Someone who isn't waiting for you to live. Someone who needs you not to. My name is Avery. I'm 29. I manage logistics for a global shipping firm, which basically means I spend my days identifying risks before they turn into disasters. I know how to read patterns. I know when numbers don't add up. And Bonnie's behavior? It was a red flag parade. When the detective came by 2 days later, his expression told me he didn't believe in accidents either. The brake line hadn't failed. It had been sliced clean. No rust. No wear. A deliberate cut. You know that weird calm that settles over you when something terrible finally makes sense? That was me. Because here's the thing. This wasn't the first time Bonnie had tried to burn me down. When I was 10, there was a fire in our hallway. The curtains went up like tissue paper. I can still smell it if I close my eyes, that sharp, bitter smoke that makes your lungs seize. I remember Bonnie standing there with a matchbox in her hand, her face lit orange by flames. Our parents came running. She burst into tears instantly. Pointed at me. Avery did it. I didn't. But I took the blame. I always did. I was the practical one, the responsible one, the strong one. Bonnie was the golden child. The dramatic one, the one who needed protecting. So when she cried, people believed her. When I protested, I sounded cold. I learned early that love in our house was conditional. Hers was automatic. Mine was earned. So yeah, when I found out about the brake line, I wasn't shocked. I was done. I asked the hospital to list me under a privacy protocol. Different name, no visitors without direct approval. Bonnie kept coming, apparently. Furious she couldn't see me. I imagined her pacing the hallway, rehearsing her grieving sister's speech. Instead, I made 2 calls. Paul, our family attorney, and Ryan, a private investigator I'd worked with through my job. Ryan doesn't waste time. Within hours, he'd pulled Bonnie's financials, and wow, if desperation had a bank statement, that was it. She owed over $200,000, credit cards maxed, personal loans, and this part made my stomach twist. Money borrowed from men who don't send friendly reminder emails. There were texts, voicemails, threats. She was drowning. And I was the life raft. There was a life insurance policy our parents had insisted we both carry years ago. Just in case, they'd said. I'd barely thought about it. Bonnie had Ryan sent me photos from the impound lot. Close-ups of my severed brake line. Clean cut, surgical. It wasn't rage, it was math. She'd calculated my death down to the dollar, so I did something I never thought I would. I stopped trying to understand her. Instead, I planned. Paul invited Bonnie to his office under the pretense of discussing complications with the insurance payout. I wasn't there physically, not at first. I watched through a secure video feed from a conference room next door, heart thudding so hard I could feel it in my throat. She looked stressed, mascara slightly smudged, hair pulled back too tight. Her eyes darted around like she was expecting someone to jump out. Paul laid it out gently. Because of evidence suggesting mechanical tampering, the claim was under review. Could take years. Bonnie went pale. Years? She repeated, voice cracking. Then he mentioned a loophole. If it were ruled self-inflicted, if I had been emotionally unstable, the process would move faster. You know what she didn't say? She didn't say, "My sister would never." She leaned forward. "I was worried about her," she said softly. "She's been struggling." Oh, that performance. I almost clapped. She described fictional breakdowns, invented therapy appointments, claimed I'd talked about not wanting to be here anymore. Every lie was smooth, practiced. She signed a sworn affidavit. Perjury, insurance fraud, character assassination. And when she handed the pen back to Paul, she smiled. That's when I walked in. I wasn't dramatic about it. I didn't slam doors or raise my voice. I just stepped into the room. Her chair scraped loudly against the floor as she stood up too fast. "You," she breathed. For a second, she looked almost afraid. Then it morphed into anger. "You did this," she snapped. "You set me up. Set her up like I'd forced her to cut the brakes. Like I'd made her lie." The detective entered moments later, 2 officers behind him. They'd been waiting when they read her charges. She didn't cry. She screamed. "At me! You're ruining my life," she shrieked as they cuffed her. I didn't respond. Because for the first time in my life, I understood something crucial. Her life wasn't my responsibility. After she made bail, she tried one more stunt. Broke into my townhouse in the middle of the night. Neighbors saw. Called the police. She claimed she just wanted to talk. She was found with a lighter and a bottle of accelerant in her bag. Déjà vu. Only this time, I wasn't 10. At sentencing, the judge didn't mince words. Calculated, he called her. Predatory. 15 years. She glared at me the entire time, like I'd betrayed her. Maybe I had. Because I stopped covering for her. 6 months later, I got a letter. Beige envelope. Her handwriting looping across the front like nothing had changed. I held it over the trash for a long minute. Curiosity tugged at me. Was there an apology in there? Regret? Some tiny crack of humanity? Then I laughed. Actually laughed. No, there wasn't. I dropped it into the garbage and didn't look back. Here's what no one tells you about cutting off toxic family. It's quiet. There's no dramatic soundtrack, no fireworks. Just space. Space where chaos used to live. Space where guilt used to breathe down your neck. I moved cities. Smaller place. Cozy. I painted the walls a soft sage green. Bought plants I probably overwater. I sleep through the night now. No more checking locks 3 times. No more jumping at phone notifications. Sometimes people ask if I forgive her. I don't, and I don't need to. Forgiveness is optional. Peace isn't. If you're watching this and you're the strong one in your family, the fixer, the scapegoat, the one who absorbs everyone else's storms, listen to me carefully. You are not obligated to drown so someone else can float. DNA is not a lifetime contract. Love should not feel like a hostage situation. And if someone is standing by waiting for you to bleed out, metaphorically or otherwise, you owe them nothing, not access, not explanations, not another chance. The hardest lesson I ever learned was this. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't saving someone. It's walking away and letting them face the fire they lit. If this story hits somewhere deep, if you've ever felt like the villain in someone else's twisted narrative, subscribe to Her Untold Revenge. This space is for the women who survived what was supposed to destroy them. And share this with someone who needs the reminder that cutting the cord isn't cruelty. Sometimes it's self-defense.